So I've come to realize being unemployed has its benefits, right? I have a lot more time to sit and watch bullshit. What I feel is now, I hate when people say, my calling, my calling. Well, my calling, I feel, if I were to say I have one, is now seeing the digital ID being passed in Switzerland, being passed in Britain. Obviously, it's already a thing in China. Um, if this becomes, and Canada, of course, wants it too. So, this is becoming a global thing. We need to get as much out as possible right now. And I'm an American, Buffalo, New York, right inside the continental United States. I love my country. I love my freedoms. I am seeing the avalanche. And if you look at any of my past content, is shit about weed. I'm a former drug addict, so there's a lot of that journey in there as well. But not often did I talk about geopolitical stuff, mainly because I'm uneducated, no college at all. I'm specialized in being an automotive technician with multiple sclerosis. Hence, therefore, I'm useless. I'm now useless. So I'm going back into working menial jobs and so on and so forth. But I'm intelligent, right? I can look at something, find the pattern, and be like, oh, okay. That's what's happening here. So now, this, excuse me, this channel, Canadian Zone, awesome channel. He gets into the nitty gritty of why Carney is fucking them, and it's all ego. It's all ego. This one, they just found 4 different packages going to the same address, all had a bunch of guns and pew pews and shit to turn semis and autos and the whole thing, proving that Canada's border is porous as shit, right? We always talk as an American, right? And this hits home for me. Again, Buffalo, New York, one of the main entrances into Canada, United States. I live 14 minutes away from that point. By the way, the border's been closed for like 2 days. I've seen a couple news sources on it. Maybe we'll even go over it a little bit, but point is, there's a lot of things that you can see with your own fucking eyes. We're about to see some stuff. Here's Trump talking some shit.
Look at what's happened with our last president, where he allowed millions of people to come into our country with an open border. Who would want an open border? How stupid is that? But he allowed millions and millions of people, and of the millions, and I think it was 21 million people, but let's say 3 of them were serious criminals, serious murderers and drug dealers and gang members and people from jails. All the jails emptied out right into our country, right along the open border on Mexico, generally to Mexico. Okay, they came in from Canada too, by the way, a lot. But generally speaking, on the southern border. And what a shame it is that we are now working very hard to get them out, get the criminals out, get the murderers out, the drug dealers, the mentally insane, get them out. They dropped the mentally insane in our country too. And this was all done by the Biden administration. It's a disgrace that we have to work so hard. And then we have judges that try and protect these people. But they didn't protect us when the people were being let in. But to get them out is never easy with these people. So I think we're doing a great job.
Standing before cameras, Trump declared that the Windsor bust was just the tip of the iceberg.
Excuse me. Hello. Excuse me. This is the host from the Canadian Zone. I truly enjoy this guy. Truly enjoy him. He a little witty, you know what I mean? I enjoy that. I like to think I'm a funny guy. I like watching funny guys, you know what I mean? That being said, we're gonna let him explain some shit. Again, I'm not trying to steal somebody's whole video, but we'll see what's happening.
He argued that if Canada couldn't stop guns and, conversion devices from flowing across the line, how could it possibly stop fentanyl, or worse, terrorists? It was a familiar Trump tactic, used one single incident to frame a much broader argument. But this time the stakes were bigger than ever, because Trump wasn't just talking about border patrols or immigration. He tied Windsor bust directly to trade negotiations. And according to people in the room, Trump warned that unless Canada agreed to tougher joint security provisions baked right into the Canada-US-Mexico agreement, that he was prepared to walk away from the deal entirely. In other words, the weapons bust in Windsor is now the poster child, the face of an agreement that could get torn to shreds should the USA walk away.
What a fantastic point. What a fantastic point. Something that could have been seen as maybe a regional problem. Oh, you know, this one bad person did one bad thing. Let the locals take care of it. Trump said, fuck that. This trade deal is so important for North America, South America. Doesn't matter your countries, pick one. It's important for every country in the whole continent to have this one issue now be the tender point, the breaking the camel's back bullshit. What a fantastic point. One fucking thing. That's all you need. That's all you need. It doesn't even have to be as big as popping Charlie Kirk in the neck. Rest in peace. It can be something as I don't want to say as minuscule. I mean, it's still terroristic stuff and poor stuff. But point being, it's incredible to me. So I wanted to point that out. What an excellent thing. All right, again, we're not trying to steal this whole video here. What else we got today? Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Looks like meat's back on the menu as Donald Trump has brought back the 51st state rhetoric, even saying he brought it up with Mark Carney recently. And that's just one of the other major announcements coming out of the military meeting we saw today. We've got some funny clips from that because, of course, the mainstream media never shows the good stuff. But that wasn't the only major announcement coming out of the Trump administration. There was a huge pharmaceutical announcement which actually affects Canada as well. We've talked about it on this channel before. There's been some major trade updates. We've seen more tariffs, more job losses as the economy continues to do worse thanks to our liberal government. And instead of reading the room, the Alberta Teachers Union decided to sell out their communities by going on strike, where an Alberta politician called out a teenager just for wanting to go to school. And then we have some surprising results from some recent polls on if an election was held today. Maybe not so surprising based on how Canada's trending. And then we got some instruction from the foreign entrepreneurs on how we need to treat nature. There's a lot to talk about in today's video, so let's get into it.
I think this is one of the biggest medical announcements that this office has ever made, because we're talking about price reductions, as you'll see in a couple of minutes, that are incredible. For many years, Americans have paid the highest prices anywhere in the world for prescription drugs. They paid far more, 10 times, 13 times, 15 times more.
Why is that? Why is that? Insurance companies and government collusion. Let's get that out of the way right now. I have multiple sclerosis. I am no longer able to do what I'm passionate about. Turning ranches. I am selling tools currently to pay for rent. So to hear, and I'm a Trump. I love Trump. I fucks with Trump. But it gets me so frustrated. I don't even know.
It's time to stop smelling funky and freshen up your scent.
I don't even know where he's going with this, but just hearing that we've paid 10, 20, I know. I know.
Than other countries for the exact same product. A major reason is that the American consumers have been subsidizing research and development costs for the entire planet.
Yes, that's true, and we got into it on the channel a few weeks ago when this was sort of being announced.
By the way, I'm not going to interrupt it. Probably interrupt one more time. I want to give him shout out Spencer Graham. I'm sorry, Spencer Gatton. I'm probably Canadian. I'm probably fucking it up, but I like him too. Middle little porn stash. I like him. Funny dude.
the American people have been footing the bill for all of the research costs up front, for all of the development costs. And there's been countries globally, because of course they can't afford the USD prices, who pay way less for the same prescription drugs that Americans would. The reason why this is important for Canadians to pay attention to, Canadians, yes, have benefited from getting cheaper pharmaceutical prices, which was great, of course. Obviously, I want Canadians to have access to affordable pharmaceuticals, but the fact is, this is just another connection that Canada and the US have that has to do with Canada-US relations. Again, why I think we should get a deal, because the countries are so much more connected than people are ready to admit.
Here's a great point. Again, I'm gonna bring this up a couple more times. I live in a border state. The main hub. I mean, we have so much government in one spot, and it's probably the poorest section. So it's very interesting seeing that people are now. I'm sure they've been talking about it forever. I'm new to the space, new to reacting to things, and so on and so forth. I've heard it a lot, but I heard it be said. I think this was in the 90s. We were still crossing boats, leisurely, recreationally crossing on our boat from the pier in Buffalo over to Canada, hop off, go get sip real quick, and jump right back across the border. That was just going on not more than 20 years ago, and now we're really like with the fentanyl and all that stuff. It's really becoming a problem. But my whole point is, it wasn't really that big a deal before, because we were such good friends. You start taking your ball and going home, well, fuck you, I'm gonna close the gate. It just makes sense to me. And especially if I'm the one who provided your ball. But because I provided it for so long, you just expect to take it with you. No, homie. I gave you the ball in the first place. Why don't you help me out a little bit? AKA border stuff, AKA trade stuff, AKA not completely against our government. How is that a thing? And why? And why is that a thing? Oh, it's because people don't like Donald Trump. You know what? This is probably going to be a great video. I'm going to stop it there. We're going to leave it at, people do not like this gentleman right here, Mr. DJT. We'll see what history will say about him in 20, 30 years, 40 years. Living through it right now, I'm proud that this is my president. We'll see what happens. We'll see where it goes. I don't like the government. Never have, never will. I make no money. Wife and I are poor, trying to figure it out. My son, he just turned 16. He wants to get a job because he sees that, like, we don't have no money. So he wants to be able to go and do his thing. So I'm not only thinking about me, but I'm thinking about my child. What's he going to grow up into? My life has been hard. I graduated in 2007, 36 years old. Like, it shouldn't be perfect, but it shouldn't be this hard. And I'm one of millions saying the exact same thing. I'm nobody special. So, just, it's a rough situation that we're in. But I think Americans, we just need to come together a little bit. We stop with the distractions and we go full bore ahead. Alright, one more anecdotal thing. Next time you see a car commercial, watch what it says. Assembled in America, parts made in America. But we're starting to understand that we should be a nationalistic country. We should want the best for Americans. And then, once we apply our oxygen mask, we apply the rest of the world's. Later.